It hunts in total darkness, up to a mile beneath the surface, holding its breath for over an hour at a time. A sperm whale once rammed a ship hard enough to sink it. In 1820, the whaling vessel Essex went down after a bull sperm whale hit its hull. Twice, deliberately, from a distance. It's the true story that inspired Moby Dick. It's the largest predator on Earth with teeth. 20 to 26 of them on each side of the lower jaw. 40 to 52 teeth in total, each one up to 8 inches long, weighing close to a kilogram apiece. So what happens when one of these animals closes the distance in open water and touches a diver? In widely viewed footage, filmmaker Thomas Behrend was in the water with a pod of sperm whales when a newborn calf surfaced close by. The mothers reacted immediately. Loud, agitated clicks. A group of whales closed in and pushed him back, chasing him through open water, staying barely a body length behind, close enough that he could see every inch of them. Then one of them closed its jaw around his leg. Beat. He kept swimming. Moments later, the whale let go. The boat crew hauled him out, exhausted, shaking, completely unhurt. It had him, and it stopped. The easy explanations don't hold up. The teeth aren't real weapons. They are. Each one up to 8 inches long, weighing close to a kilogram. One of the largest teeth of any living predator, more than double the length of a great white shark's. So maybe they just don't use them then. That part's actually true. But not for the reason you'd think. Sperm whales are suction feeders. Some healthy adults have been found with teeth that never even broke through the gum. The teeth barely factor into how this animal eats at all. Then they must just be naturally gentle. Tell that to the crew of the Essex, dead in the water 8,000 miles from home, or to a diver who just had a whale's jaw around his leg. So what's actually going on? Sperm whales can't see what's directly in front of them. Their eyes sit on the sides of a head that makes up a third of their body length, leaving a blind spot exactly where a diver, or another whale, would be floating face to face with them. They don't compensate with vision. They compensate by closing the gap and touching. In 2023, researchers off Dominica documented in unprecedented detail a wild sperm whale giving birth. A female named Rounder was surrounded by her family unit as they worked together to lift her newborn calf to the surface for its first breath, nudging it, guiding it, again and again, almost entirely through touch. That's not an exception. It's the default. Sperm whale society runs on physical contact, resting together in tight vertical clusters, rubbing against each other, guiding calves with their bodies rather than words. Entire family units, sometimes spanning generations, staying in near constant contact for decades. Researchers off Dominica have now tracked some of these same families for more than 20 years. The same mothers, the same calves grown into adults, the same bonds still holding. In 2024, a diver in Dominica filmed a whale doing something smaller but just as telling. A female circled him slowly for several minutes, clicking the entire time. Not aggressive, not fast, just present. He described it afterward as being scanned, the way you'd feel someone's eyes move over you in a room. She came within inches. She never touched him. She didn't need to. The clicking alone was the whale doing what its species always does first, reaching out to work out who or what you are. Nobody knows for certain what it means when a sperm whale goes further and actually makes contact. It could be exploration. It could be the same close-range sensing it uses on prey and pod mates alike. It could be simple curiosity about something new in its world. What is clear is that touch already sits at the center of how this species relates to almost everything around it. Its calves, its pod mates, and now, on occasion, us. There's still the part that scares people more than the teeth, the sound. Sperm whale clicks are the loudest sounds any animal produces, measured at up to 230 decibels underwater. For years, scientists seriously entertained the idea that a blast at that intensity, at close range, could do real damage to a human body. People who've been close describe feeling it like a hand pressing against their chest from the inside. Here's the twist. The loudest clicks, the ones with real theoretical potential to cause harm, happen at long range, while the whale is still searching, far from anything it might actually hit. Researchers studying the final moments before a sperm whale closes in on something found the opposite of what you'd expect. In that last stretch, right before contact, the clicks get quieter, by a factor of 10 to 100. Not louder as it gets closer, quieter. One underwater photographer described a 40-ton bull speeding straight toward her in open water, sonar hammering through her ribs the entire time, loud enough that she raised her camera like a shield, bracing for impact. It passed her with millimeters to spare and never made contact at all. The whale that's about to touch you has already turned itself down every single time this has been measured. None of this means every encounter is safe. Thomas Barron's leg ended up in a whale's mouth because he was in the way during a moment of real stress. A birth, with a vulnerable newborn and mothers on edge. Responsible whale swim operators are explicit about this. Touching a wild sperm whale isn't permitted, and every encounter happens entirely on the whale's terms, never the diver's. When a whale doesn't want to be approached, it simply leaves. Divers who chase or crowd them report the whales vanishing into the deep within seconds, and the species is fully capable of applying force with intent. The Essex didn't sink by accident, and it didn't sink because of confusion. A whale had been harpooned by the ship's crew, and the bull that came back for the ship itself had reportedly watched the hunt. Sperm whales have also been recorded forming defensive rings around injured pod mates and reacting instantly and physically to anything that gets too close to a calf. The same animal that will let a stranger touch its newborn will not tolerate a threat anywhere near one. Whatever else is true here, restraint isn't the same thing as an absence of power. What the documented gentle encounters actually show isn't that sperm whales are harmless. It's that touch for this animal seems to default to careful rather than careless, even in a species that could end almost any encounter in an instant, if it chose to. Off the Azores, photographer Kurt Amsler was in the water when a mother sperm whale surfaced with a calf only seconds old, skin still wrinkled, tail fluke still folded from the womb. The mother nudged her newborn toward each member of her pod, one at a time. An introduction. Then she nudged the calf toward Amsler, an animal the length of a city bus, capable of sinking a ship, chose, in one of the most vulnerable moments of its entire life, to include a stranger in it. Not because it trusted the species, because for one calf in one moment, it decided he belonged there too. If a creature that powerful chose to introduce its baby to you, what would you do? Let me know in the comments.